Welcome to the Campbell Training Center. Today in our How to Do It series of educational videos, we're going to look at the process of thoroughly cleaning your handheld air spray gun.
Sounds great. Let's take a look at the video.
All right, Robin, what are we going to look at here today?
Today we're going to clean up a spray gun after a paint job.
We compress the handle and then
Pull the trigger back on the handle, flush the gun through with some lacquer thinners till it runs clear.
all right, and then we're rinsing off all the extra I see as well.
We're rinsing off all the outside there, brush the inside a little bit until the solvent runs clear out of the front of the nozzle as we're pulling the trigger back.
And then just wash off any splatter that might have occurred on the gun itself.
Any splatter on the outside, clean it up with the brush a little bit, make sure it looks relatively nice when you're done there.
Then take the cap.
Take the air cap off. After the air cap will be the fluid nozzle coming off. After the nozzle's out, we'll take the fluid adjustment knob off, take the spring and the fluid needle out.
Careful not to lose the spring.
Careful not to lose the spring. We'll wash the fluid needle off, getting it nice and clean.
All right, in the first round, you're just using existing waste lacquer at this point.
That's all we're using, just waste lacquer thinners in the thing.
Yes.
It's relatively clean.
Okay.
And giving it a final rinse with fresh lacquer thinners.
Okay, until it runs perfectly clean, and we can reassemble the gun at the end.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right now we'll brush with a little brush inside the fluid nozzle, make sure all the paint is out of the nozzle, flush it out with a little more lacquer thinners until it runs clean again.
Okay. And how many times would you say that we should clean our gun?
You should clean the gun immediately after use each time to make sure the gun's up to its optimum performance.
All right. And several times a day, I would imagine.
Several times a day, as many times as you paint, I would clean the gun each time.
All right. And here you're just brushing through again, trying to get each of those little passageways.
All the passageways in the air cap, we're going to clean them to make sure we have a nice fan pattern. If one of the little passageways is clogged, then your fan spray will be off-centered or not spraying correctly.
Okay. Right, and then the gun itself.
We're just going to clean the gun itself with a small brush inside the center of the gun with some fast lacquer thinners again. Make sure it's all down in the back, down through the top, flush it out again.
And we have another video that we're going to upload that will actually show a cutaway of the gun so that we can see what it is that we're cleaning exactly.
See all the passageways inside the gun where the paint travels.
Nice. All right. And then we're going to go over it with the brush one more time, rinse it off.
Give it a final brushing, rinse it off, and then we'll reassemble the gun.
All right. Well, that's actually a lot easier than I would have thought it was.
It's pretty easy every time. After you do it a couple times, there's not much to it.
Okay.
Fluid needle first, the spring, then the fluid adjustment knob. Holding the trigger back, tighten it up until the trigger just starts to move and you know you've reached the right point to stop right there. We'll put the fluid nozzle in, tighten it up, and then tighten it up the rest of the way with the wrench.
And that's just a minor steel on steel connection. We don't want to overturn.
You don't want to over tighten it, but you don't want to under tighten it either.
Okay.
Holding the gun vertical, put the air cap on, center it up, and give it a little snug.
All right. Well,
And it's
thanks.
complete.